Good morning, everybody. We are here to interview some students about the fair. Here we are with Andres Arango, which is one of Miss Grass's students from high intermediate level. Andres, what do you think about the fair?
The fair is very interesting because different culture, different kind of ideas. You can see the rooms, the kind of the culture and help you to desenvolve and understand the European culture.
Do you think that the preparation for this fair has been tough for you students?
No tough. You can study more and help you to 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 fluate with the English and know in English and understand the other culture.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning, we're going to talk you about the English fair and we're going to present now our classmates.
Okay. Our group is the champion in AFL de Romero.
Anthony Peña.
Fuentes.
Guys, what do you think about the English fair?
I think that the English is very important because we can learn about different topics. In this case, we can learn about different explorers that are very important in the history of the humanities.
What is the topic of the presentation?
Our topic is about Charles Darwin and Leif Erikson. Leif Erikson was the king of people, and Charles Darwin was a discoverer about the evolution of the humanity.
Well, we are the low intermediate with Miss Juanita. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. We're here with Ana Travanino, who's one of Miss Patricia Perez's tutees, and we would like to ask her a couple of questions about the fair. What do you think about it?
I think it's a great idea that teachers have had put a fair together to help students improve their English speaking process.
Do you think that the students have put their best effort in order to develop a good presentation?
Yes, I believe they do. They work hard with their visuals and preparing on their free time, their oral presentations, and everything overall. I think they all work hard enough. Yeah.
What about your personal tutees? Do they seek help from you or something?
Yes, they do. They always seek help. They're very serious and dedicated about their work. They're very interested in learning more every day. And I'm really proud of them because they always go an extra mile. They always want more, want to speak more, want to talk more, want to work more, and that's something I'm really proud of.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello again, everybody. We're here with Mr. Jim Whitmore, which is an English professor and a coordinator of the area. And we're going to ask some questions about the fair. What do you think about the fair in general?
In general, I really like the fair. I think it provides a good opportunity for students to use their English outside of the classroom. I think many of the students have an opportunity to be creative, which is not as common here in Zamorano, so it gives them a real opportunity to express themselves, show a little bit of their personality, and then, of course, the most important, practice their English outside of the classroom.
Do you think the students have put their greatest effort in their presentations?
I think it depends on the group, and I think it depends on what their academic load is around the time that the fair takes place. Certain students who maybe didn't perform as well in class really work very hard in the fair to try and recuperate some of those points that they feel they may have missed. But for the most part, I think students, for the time that they have and the preparation and materials, I think many of the students do their best effort for the fair. Yes.
Okay. What do you think is the most positive aspect about the fair, and what could we improve about it? What could we change?
Again, I think the most positive aspects are that it breaks up the routine of going to class every week. I think it gives them a goal or an objective, something to produce that then they can demonstrate and show and model what they've learned in their classes in an environment that is not necessarily in the classroom with just their teacher and just the students that they've been working with. And how we could change it, we're really working on finding ways to get the ideas and the organization of the fair out of the hands of the professors and into the hands of into the hands of the students. We had a fair last year that was completely organized and generated through student participation. One of the extracurricular groups in AGI wanted to develop a food technology fair, and they organized and they did that on their own. We're constantly trying to integrate the fair into other areas. For example, we have the physics fair is now in collaboration with the physics department, is completely in English, and that really prepares the students to be professional, bilingual students. What we're also looking at is exploring different environments to have the fair instead of just around the CDs. We're looking to see if we could organize and have the fair in the library, a more central location to get different people access to the fair. And it also, again, takes the students out of the classroom environment and puts them in a more formal setting so that they're even that much more aware that they're outside of the classroom and using their English in a more realistic way.
Do you think that the fact that some teachers are there for to judge the students is gonna be a great pressure for them? Makes them feel that they have someone watching them, or they're gonna feel more natural just with other students around. What do you think about it?
I think having professors there judging them does increase the pressure a little bit, but at the same time, all these students have already been evaluated for their grade, and I think it's good for students to also practice their English with someone other than just their professor. For example, I was just observing students in second year who were my students last year. And it was really nice for me to go and see and actually hear how much they'd learned since I was last with them. I'm sure they would be more relaxed if it was just their peers, but at the same time, we need and want different people, not just teachers, but other administrators, other departments, professors from other areas to be able to observe them as well. Do I think they feel pressured? Probably a little bit, particularly if they are at the lower level of English. They're going to be more nervous. But that's also the idea of the fair, is to give them that repetition so that that nervousness goes away over time.
Okay, what's the most common mistake that you see in students in their presentation, and why do you think that happens?
The most common mistake in the presentations is procrastination. Students oftentimes think they have a lot of time to prepare their presentations, so they don't always put a lot of effort during the planning stages, and then weeks 10 and 11, they work very, very, very hard to try and get everything they can, and there's a lot of pressure. And then what happens is the quality of the work and the quality of the presentations is lower than the actual ability of the student. So I would say preparing and planning over the long period of time, because we start organizing these groups in weeks 1 and 2. And I think students use that as a way to say, oh, I have lots of time. And then the week before the fair or the week of the fair, they work really hard to try and make everything and get everything together. What was the second part of the question?
Why do you think that happens?
Why do I think it happens? I think it happens because many of the students don't have a lot of opportunity, or haven't had a lot of opportunity, to plan projects over a long period of time. Zamorano tends to have a system where it's class, 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 take a test, class, 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 take a test. And this is more of a developmental process where it's a long-term goal and a long planning session. And I simply think many of the students, if the pressure is not immediate, they don't give it the attention. And so they say, well, I don't really have to plan what I'm going to say because that's not until week 11 or week 10. So it's only week 5. I'm going to focus on this test that I have in week 7. I'm going to focus on this evaluation that I have. And then, I don't know, I think it's just sort of the rhythm of Zamorano that students get into.